In a logo, a man holds a guide dog's harness. Pilot Dogs, established 1950. A title, Pilot Dogs, Columbus, Ohio. Class of Spring 2022. First, John and Pilot Dog Joey.
Okay, left.
In a hallway, John holds the handle of an empty harness. A trainer, Mike, holds the other end and leads John around a corner.
Ready, John?
Mike stops outside John's room.
Here's your new friend.
A white poodle.
Congratulations. This is Joey.
Mike walks Joey to John's chair.
Male poodle. Here's your leash.
John takes the leash as Joey wags his short tail. Outside, John holds Joey's harness handle while Mike holds the leash. On a sidewalk, Joey walks alongside John, but a step ahead. Mike walks beside the team, still holding the leash. Later, John holds Joey's harness and leash as Mike follows behind. Joey attentively guides John past a German Shepherd jumping up behind a fence. The team stops at an intersection, and John extends his hand forward as a car drives through. As trained, Joey recognizes the oncoming car and stops John from stepping into traffic. After the car passes, John extends his hand again, and Joey guides him forward. Joey guides John past a construction zone. John bathes Joey at a shower station. John and Joey leave a building as trainer Michaela follows. John, who wears a treat pouch on his belt, walks confidently with Joey. As they approach a building entrance, Michaela shakes her fists excitedly. Now on a stage, Joey guides John to a podium. John taps the podium, then gives Joey a treat. In John's hometown, Joey guides John past storefronts as a trainer follows. At Home Depot, John gestures to the right as he and Joey follow John's wife into the hardware aisle. At a meeting, Joey and a yellow lab lie on the floor together. Joey's leash lies wrapped over John's leg. John, smiling broadly and wearing a suit and tie, poses with Joey on a park bench. In another photo, Mike stands with them. Now, Kaylee and Pilot Dog Specs.
The elbow, that's slight back pressure, and whenever you're ready.
Trainer Michaela holds the empty harness.
Perfect.
They turn right. Outside, Michaela holds the front of the empty harness as Kaylee holds the handle. They stop at a curb ramp on a mat of raised bumps. Now Kaylee walks with Specks, a black lab. Kaylee gestures palm up and Specks sits. They walk together on a quiet street by a park. In a day room, Kaylee gestures palm down. Specks lies on the floor. Kaylee sits in a chair. Specks moves beside her. Specks scoots under the chair, emerging between Kaylee's feet. Specks guides Kaylee on a sidewalk, past the fenced-in German Shepherd. The team trains with Michaela in a parking garage. At an open bus door, Specks guides Kaylee as they ascend a few steps onto the bus. Later, the pair descend the steps to exit the bus. Mike follows as Specks guides Kaylee past the massive bus, then to a curb ramp where he stops. In a grocery store, Specks guides Kaylee through the aisles. Kaylee holds a basket in one hand and the harness handle in the other. Mike follows behind. Specks brings Kaylee to the checkout counter. Kaylee sets her basket down, gives Specks a good scritching, then knocks on the counter. Outside, Specks guides Kaylee toward a temporary sidewalk by a construction zone. Kaylee smiles widely as she and Specks walk together. Kaylee and Specks sit on a park bench. Kaylee puts her arm around Specks' shoulders as they pose for a photo. In another photo, Mike poses with them as Specks watches Kaylee attentively. Now Vernon and Pilot Dog Billy. Vernon and trainer Tia walk with an empty harness to the curb. Indoors with Tia, Vernon reaches into his treat pouch. At a door,
Vernon, are you ready? All right.
Tia enters with Billy.
Here is Billy. He's a white, yellow lab.
Billy squirms excitedly as he noses Vernon.
I'm going to give you the leash. Just let him get calm and no commands.
Billy's tail wags furiously as he jumps his paws onto Vernon's lap. Vernon beams as he holds and pets Billy. In a day room, Billy lies between Vernon's feet.
And say, Billy, find a way.
Outside, a sidewalk is blocked by construction barrels. Billy guides Vernon onto a grassy strip around the blockade, then back onto the sidewalk. At a mall, Billy guides Vernon to a chair. By the German Shepherd's yard, Billy keeps his gaze straight ahead as he guides Vernon past the barking distraction. Billy guides Vernon through a park. Later, Vernon sits at an outdoor table with friends with Billy's leash around his thigh. Billy lies on the ground at his side. Billy guides Vernon to a sidewalk pedestrian signal and gets a treat. Billy guides Vernon into a parking garage as Tia follows a couple of paces behind. At a supermarket, Billy sits attentively as Vernon shops the cereal aisle. Outside, Billy leads Vernon toward a railroad crossing. When they reach the bumpy mat, Billy turns, blocking Vernon's path. Vernon sweeps his arm forward, and Billy starts across the tracks. In a photo, Vernon and Billy sit together on a park bench. Vernon smiles, leaning close and with an arm around Billy. In another photo, Tia poses with the new team. At home, Vernon, Billy, and Tia pose for another photo. Billy sits dutifully beside Vernon, looking at the camera. Congratulations to John and Joey, Kaylee and Specs, and Vernon and Billy. And special thanks to the Pilot Dogs training team. In a logo, a man holds a guide dog's harness. Pilot Dogs, established 1950.